All right. Hello, everybody. I'm live here coming at you from Chicago this evening. Hope you're doing good wherever you're at. And if you're watching this live or watching the replay of it, thought I would do some stuff about soloing in A blues. Going to talk a little bit about just some different ideas when you're doing finger picking, blues soloing in A. I'm going to play through, somewhat spontaneously play through a few different solos, and then I'll break down what I'm doing, what little tricks I'm using in them. So let's get into it. So, and we'll start off with this one. All right, cool. So if we take an up close look at this, what I'm doing here is kind of alternating between a couple different notes on each chord. So I'm on my A chord here, and A is a good key for finger picking blues, especially because it has the A string, the D string, and the E string, bass notes, open strings, and that's great because those are our main chords, A, D, and E. And so we're going to start on that A chord like this, then I'm going to do an A7. So I'm just going between those two notes. And my thumb is doing what I call a driving bass. Some people call it monotonic bass. So I'm just hitting 2 or 3 strings constantly with that thumb beat. And then I'm doing a D7 chord here with a wraparound bass. And I'm changing this note on the 2nd string from 1st fret to open. So that's my alternation for the D chord. Then I'm going to go back to the A. Then for the E, I'm going to do an E chord and then an E7. Those are my 2 different notes. Back to the D7. Nice little lick that you can put in there as well. And I also like to use that a little bit as kind of like a boogie. I was doing a little bit of that in the introduction. So let me do another one. I'll do something different and then I'll break it down. So this one I'll use that boogie riff and then go into some other things. So So for this one, let's take an up close look. What I'm doing is this boogie riff here, using that open A string, and then this is the 3rd and 4th string that I'm hitting at the same time, doing a little. Isn't that cool? That's a cool riff. I'm sort of breaking up the driving thumb pattern that I was doing before, that chunk, chunk, chunk. So now I'm kind of making it a little busier with this boogie riff. Then I'm going up to the 5th fret, 1st string, and 7th fret, 2nd string. And that's going to be my sort of what I'm playing with the treble. Can also add on a pinky on 8th fret or 7th fret. All those notes are good. And my thumb is going to hit. And then we're going to go back to an A chord because we're playing in a 12-bar blues progression. So I'm going to go to a D shape here. This is an A chord on the 9th fret. Then I slid that up to the 12th and 13th fret. And then I believe I did, let's see, I think I did an E here. Something like that. and then back to the A. Something like this. So very much I'm using this driving thumb style. Some people call this a monotonic bass. Some of the players that use this style were like Big Bill Broonzy, very much played in this style, as well as Mance Lipscomb. So it gives it a certain feel when you've got that bass pattern working in that way. But key of A is nice. There's a lot of different things you can do in the key of A. Each key sounds a little bit different because it'll have different riffs that kind of fit within it. Let me try something else. I'll do another one. So. All right, cool. So that one I started up the neck with this little shape that a lot of different blues players use this. Robert Johnson used this shape, Muddy Waters. Honey Boy Edwards is another guy who used it that I liked a lot. So it's like a D7 shape from down here, but you just move it all the way up to the 8th and 9th fret. That's an A7, and you've got your nice open A bass note there. So I'm just gonna something like that. And I like to add in, this note here is kind of cool. You put the pinky on 10th fret. That's a little something I got from Honey Boy Edwards, really great bluesman who used to hang around Chicago and lived in Chicago for a long time. And he would do that. I've never really heard anyone else do that particular A7 with a just interesting kind of chord. You can also move it back and forth like. So that's how I'm starting it off. And then I went to a D7 shape right here, just a bar chord. Still using the A as the bass note. And then I went back to that boogie riff. Yeah. And then I went to the E7. I think I went up the neck. There, back to the A. So you can see there's a lot of different things, and really I just think of these as little parts, riffs that go with each chord, you know. So I'm going through the A chord to the D chord, back to the A chord, E chord, D chord, A chord, because that's our 12-bar blues pattern. So that's what I'm doing here is a 12-bar blues. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail on that right at the moment, but it is important because I'm following that pattern and I'm just plugging in different shapes, different locations on the guitar neck that I know work with that particular chord. So you can really mix and match them once you have a few under your belt, which makes it kind of fun. You can spontaneously decide which one you're going to use. Here's another thing I like to do is kind of a rolling chord thing. This is a Big Bill Broonzy used to do this sometimes. You get a So that's almost like a classical guitar chord there, but you're kind of going 5th fret, 4th fret, and you're barring the 2nd fret on the 3rd and 4th strings. I'm using my index finger and thumb to kind of roll that. Then I was doing the D7 chord using this shape, which is kind of cool. You put your pinky on 1st string, 5th fret, this finger on 2nd string, 3rd fret, this 3rd finger on 5th string, 3rd string, 5th fret, and middle finger on 4th string, 4th fret. That's a D7 chord, and we could use an A bass on that. It's not perfect, but it works. Right, and then I went back to the roll. I'll go up there to the 9th fret, 7th fret. Cool, so I hope you're starting to get the idea, see all the different possibilities of what you can do when you're doing A blues, finger picking A blues, and improvising. I think maybe I'll just jam for a bit now. I'm just gonna play some just different stuff on A blues and see where it goes. Maybe I'll think of a couple other things that I might want to break down. The Honey Boy lick. Yeah, the A finger picking blues. And if you're enjoying this this idea, this little lesson here, a little mini workshop on A blues, finger picking A blues solos, I've got another video where I did a similar thing in the key of C, so be sure to check that out as well, blues soloing ideas in the key of C. I'll put a link for that in the description of this later on. But some things I added in there was I did the boogie on all 3 chords, which you can do. You can move that. You can move this boogie shape here. You can drop that down. As you can use that note as a higher note. You can also that's a cool thing about, the key of A in general, not just finger picking in A, but in A blues is a lot of if you do little patterns like shuffle patterns, you can move that pattern to A, D, and E real easily because you've got these open strings for D or for E. So that's basically what we're doing with that boogie pattern there. especially works if you're doing two patterns that just use two strings, because then your A, D, and E are all perfectly symmetrical. So that's a really cool thing about the key of A. Blues, some other things. What else was I putting in there? Everything, pretty much. Mostly the stuff I was doing previously, just in different orders and whatnot. You know, but I just like those. That's a great one. That little A7 up the neck is classic. As well as this one, because you get the blues note. Right? So yeah, lots you can do with it. It's pretty endless, really, in terms of exploring it. But those are some of the main spots that I use on the guitar, main locations for A, blues, finger picking, soloing. I'm always trying to keep those bass strings going. In this case, using that Big Bill Brunsey or Mance Lipscomb type of thing. Check out Willie May by Big Bill Brunsey if you want to hear an up-tempo A blues, key of A blues, using some cool finger picking and some cool riffs along the neck of the guitar. All right. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I just wanted to come out and do something because I've been traveling for a while, so I haven't made any much new content in a while. So I wanted to pop back on and break down some stuff for you. Hope you're having a great day or evening wherever you're at. Leave me a comment if you like this, if you got something out of this. Be sure to subscribe to this channel to get more content like this. I'll see you real soon. Thanks for checking this out.